Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to our final coverage on the buzz for 2014 elections, the decision 2014. Good evening, gentlemen.
Uppity.
Of course, I have my producer of the buzz here, Keen J.C. Concepcion, whose son is namesake for the proposal 14A. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm elated. Thank you so much.
And of course, Sean Gumatauta, an old colleague here and former Chief of Staff for Governor Felix Camacho. And he was one of our analysts last night, up to this morning, analyzing elections.
I gotta tell you, I'm excited to be on the buzz. I had never been on it, so I guess I get a buzz for being on the buzz.
You get a buzz, you get a buzz, yeah, for being on the buzz. But hey, anyway, the results came out. Medicinal marijuana. You and I had analyzed these past few months, right. Election issues and things of that nature, and candidate stance on this. And you and I happened to be on the same page of this thing, and right. We knew this thing was going to pass. Your thoughts on the passage?
Yeah, I believe that as we talked about for the last couple of weeks, that this was an emotional issue that was going to see its day. And I think I agree with you, and I think most people in the community would agree, when the legislature decided to not push it out themselves, put it to the people. Well, the people have, for the most part, have spoken, and it's now going to be, now in the hands of the administration to be able to promulgate the rules and pretty much move this forward and join other states who have looked at this particular issue as an important way of helping those who need help, especially when it comes down to certain either ailments or diseases that could be used by it.
Yeah, and the final tally, the yes for medicinal marijuana, 19,544
right.
versus no, 15,096 votes. Keen, your thoughts on this, because this has been a roller coaster actually.
It's been a roller coaster, yes. It has been. There were a lot of forces out there that were going against this thing, from Mr. Trapp trying to. Actually, it started out as with the legislature pushing it forward for the people to vote on this, and there was a lot of technicalities, I like to call it. I'm a layperson, so but there were a lot of things. GEC decided that it's inorganic, and everybody joined in the bandwagon, and
they thought their own branch of government.
Right. And then it went to the Guam Supreme Court, and of course the District Court of Guam, which is the federal court, and everybody said that they said, hey, it's the people's right to vote for this, and it's perfectly legal. But then again, we all know that there's another challenge that's looming up there, and it's another appeal to the Ninth Circuit Court. So we'll see what happens down the line.
Well, I'm going to say this, I'm going to reiterate this again. The people have spoken at this point. This has been a political issue. Courts really shy off the fact, trying to make political decisions that, most especially after the people have spoken.
This is a perfect example of states' rights issues.
Yeah.
As a U.S. territory, we still have those same rights that are given to us.
Sure.
So if the people, in this case, have decided that they want to move forward with allowing medical marijuana to be used in Guam, it's a very hard challenge. I think that it's hard for anyone to go up against the whole. Well, now it's a law.
Sure, it's a hard challenge. I mean, the only challenge that at this point that would be right for a challenge is of course the fact that local law doesn't trump federal law at this point in regards to the powers of course the laws of the federal government supersede that of local law. But that's applicable in all the other states, regardless of their constitution.
And that's right. I mean, I think we've been all watching how over the course of the last couple of months, the Department of Justice has looked at this issue with a bit different perspective. Eric Holder, as he's leaving his post as Attorney General, has, for the most part, have kind of acquiesced to what the states are advocating. And in this case, the people have said, we want this. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to step in front of this. And I find it hard to believe that they would go after it unless there was some flaw, and you'd hope that they would at least advise. But the people have spoken.
Sure. People have spoken. Again, Live Live Alive, you guys have done a tremendous job to try to get, as much as your time was diverted,
as much as it was diverted.
In legal issues, you did an enormous job in the amount of time you had to help the education process?
The educational process was very, very important to us. You know, there were a lot of folks in the very beginning thinking, you know, they have this thing about marijuana per se, in which when you mention marijuana, or you think about it, those nice shaped leaves, and then, you know, rolling it up and, as a joint and smoking it. This is strictly medicinal use, in which, you know, I cannot imagine a 5-year-old taking out a joint and smoking it.
Sure.
So that's where the educational process comes in which we try and tell these people, no, you do not smoke this thing. One of the ways to, you know, would be ingesting it, cough syrup kind
Sure.
of thingy, and so forth down the line. So it worked. It worked, and I'm very, very pleased with the outcome. A little bit more than over 10%. You know, and as far as the gap that the yes came out prevailing,
Sure.
and I'm very, very happy for that. Now the real work begins, in which we have 9 months to. When I say we, as a people, the government, public health, 9 months to put something together, and as far as policies and so forth are concerned, as directed by that proposal 14.8.
Now, Sean, let me ask you this. As one that sat right there, I mean, you were from the executive branch. If you were executive branch right now, I mean, what would you be doing? I mean, granted, you know, funds are limited, but this is the law. The people have spoken. What would you be tasked to do at this point, you know, in regards to the agencies now that are in charge to get this going?
Yeah, I believe that the first thing is that the governor is going to have to assign probably a single person. This is a very important issue. It might make sense to bring on a special assistant to be only focused on this issue. I know that people will say, well, why don't we use the Department of Public Health and their director or GMH or others, some help, but that's probably not going to be good enough. It has to be someone that works in the executive branch, who the governor has control over. If you go out to outside groups like a Guam Medical Association or others, they tend to have their own agenda.
Sure.
And they lose sight of what has to be the promulgation of the rules for this.
Sure.
And then so you have this. It drives probably a task force or the group of agencies that will be responsible. I would probably look to other resources that other states have in terms of some of the other governors who have experts. Bring them to Guam to assist in the effort, and over the period of time, get the rules done that best fit Guam and comply with the law.
Sure.
And then send it to the legislature, because as you know, once it goes to them under the administrative adjudication process,
AAA process,
they're going to have to clear it. Now, if it doesn't, because maybe politically they think, again, for the second time, if it does happen, maybe for a second time they might go, well, I need to learn more about it. Well, the AAA process allows that once the time expires,
Sure.
then it's automatically put into law.
That's right.
Which we don't want to see it do that. We want them to be very definitive and offer up some good changes if there is any.
Sure.
But then once that happens, then you have a law in place.
Sure.
And then I guess the legislature has 2 years before they can do anything anyways.
Yeah, well, one of the things, you know, that's happening, and actually we're going to go on a break right now, but when we come back, we'll talk about the latest in what's happening in some of the states, of course, that have legalized medicinal marijuana. Be right back.